So this next case study is Krisztina, who's based in Europe. She's a very intelligent PhD. They came up with a very innovative patented technology in the biotech and packaging space. She was backed by venture capital. She had some pretty notable people involved, but those pockets were tapped out. She was trying to get to the United States, wanted to scale. Difficult situation. We were called in through a board member on the venture capital side. We got engaged, worked with Krisztina, brought in a team, went through the capital mastermind. She ended up getting an investment through a family office that we know. And then she also got acquired by a company based in the United States, and that acquiring company is slated to go public. So Krisztina had went from a very difficult situation to now being in very high demand in a relatively short period of time. So I hope you enjoy this testimony. I hope you enjoy this case study, and I'll see you on the backside.
Well, hey, I would love to, now that we're kind of on the back side of the mountain.
Mhm.
So
Yeah,
if you,
I can see it.
it's hopefully the clouds are partying a little bit and stress has gotten a little bit better. I kind of do this for my internal reasons, right? I want to be able to document what was this journey like for you, right? And I was looking back on my records. I think you and I first started working together. Actually, I don't think I met you, but I started working with you with the original company in December of 2022.
Exactly. This is the
Yeah.
history.
It's 2022, and then it was Laszlo that I remember. I was moving from St. Kitts back to the United States. Laszlo calls me, one of your board members, right? And he's going, "Hey, can you check this thing out? What do you think about it?" I thought it was the concept of the technology sounded really cool, but when I look at your story,
Mm.
one, I would totally do a deal with you again, just to see the metal you're made of. What are some lessons learned here? One, I think perseverance is definitely one. You don't give up, right? Um, there's tenacity, which is kind of mixed in with perseverance, persistence. I think about you and I reached out to what, 150
Oh God.
investors.
Yeah, this is the number.
It's like, and a lot of these sustainability ones, which we will eventually maybe go down that path of the sustainability investors, right? And then it was really mentoring and working as a team. You were very open to me bringing in advisors and just doing everything we could to help any way that we could, right? And the nice thing is now we look at the backside of this, and now you have the investment, now you have an acquisition into a company that has a pretty significant pipeline and is going to go public. So that's a happy ending. And again, we still have to do things, right? There's transition.
Yeah,
There's
but it's closer than 1 year ago or something like that.
1 year
So
ago, yeah, 6 months ago, right? When we're like, okay, what are we going to do next? But before I kind of get into this, I've got a few questions I just want to ask you,
Mhm.
right? Just because there's always been things I've wondered that I've never really asked. But I guess for people that are seeing this for the first time, tell me about your background. I mean, you're highly educated, very smart.
Mhm.
What's your background, and what led you into what is now PolyX?
Actually, I think that the key was the scientific background and the whole research and development phase, what I went through during the whole PolyX journey as well, and before PolyX as well. So that was the key because I started as a technological chief technology officer actually at PolyX Labs. And that was the key because I built up a really good connection between the engineers, and that was the key because they just motivated me during this whole situation, and I was able to implement everything during that phase and be able to be part in at a later stage in the business development phase because I understood the whole background of the whole research and development phase and the technology. And actually, it's really difficult to tell someone the vision and what you are selling if you are not understanding the whole technology behind it, because it's a hard tech company, so you have to be able to understand. Because when we started the discussions, for example, with clients, I mean, at some point you will have to start the conversation with the technical guys, and not with the decision makers and high level marketing teams. You have to talk with the whole technological team.
And you've used, and one thing I will definitely, if I'm going to throw some compliments your way, is for someone that has a PhD that's highly technical. I mean, you could
Mm.
easily go work at a pharma company with your background. Your PhD is in what? What was it again?
Pharmaceutical engineering.
So pharmaceutical engineering, which, I went to a school that was big in pharmaceutical. I didn't touch those doors. So easily could have gone into pharmaceutical engineering. When I've worked with technical companies, it's oftentimes difficult to separate the technology and from one individual who can understand the
Mm.
technology, but could also understand what the client needs from a marketing standpoint. And to lay a compliment on you, your eye for marketing and messaging is very impressive. I mean, for someone that has a PhD, you typically don't see those two together. I mean, it's obviously one of the reasons why it's fun to work with you, because you could play with both sides of your brain. But for you, I mean, you did frontline sales. I mean, you landed, we won't mention them here, but an international, you know, brand. So, um, so tell me, when you first started kicking this up, I know when I first got engaged with your company, it was a different model, right? It was attacking the plastic waste problem.
Mhm.
So tell me, start there and going, what you were working on as a PhD, and then what did he evolved into?
So when we started this journey, our vision was to just create something which will be able to give you a solution. I mean, just solve the plastic waste issue. And actually, we started just with traditional plastics. We wanted to find something out and figure out a solution which will be able and capable just to degrade the plastic waste. But it was a really hard journey, and we had in the beginning great solutions and findings in this regard. But actually, we figured out that there are several difficulties in this way, because actually the plastic itself contains several additives as well, and you have to figure out what will happening with that material type as well, and not just with the core polymer backbone. So that was the core issue. And you have to get in the end something which will be capable to be a really good compost material, so which will be able to later stage just an end product which will be viable material for customers as well. So when we figured out the difficulties in this way, we started to find a new solution, actually a viable bioplastic and bio-based material which will be capable to compost and biodegrade.
Yeah. Because it was almost kind of a quick pivot. I mean, it was initially, you guys were looking at almost like a liquid application to liquefy
Mhm.
a bunch of plastics, which you were successful at doing. But then you mentioned the chemical composition, the additives, all that stuff left over made it challenging. And then you pivoted and you went to coffee grounds. What made you go to
Yes.
coffee grounds? And then what you accomplished, if you could just speak to that, because I know when we working with you in the polymer world, you perplexed a lot of these senior level PhDs that were scratching their head going, how did she figure this out? So if you could take me from where you needed to pivot, what made you recognize you needed to pivot, and then why you went down the path you went down?
Yes, so in the beginning, we wanted to understand what is the biggest problem with the currently used bioplastics. And we figured out that the key mistakes, what you can find in the currently available bioplastic materials, that actually not so good so-called barrier properties, which means that, for example, in a case of a coffee capsule, it's really important that for example, in case of the shelf life, you just have great materials because you want to just have fresh coffee, and it's a really important measurement what you have to understand if you want to create a bio-based material. And you also have to create something which will be able to degrade in the end of life. And that was the other situation that you have to keep in mind if you want to uh, build something which will be able to just not end up in the landfills, but also capable just to be biodegradable.
So you were able to meet manufacturer specifications that puzzled a lot of people. How did that, I mean, what was kind of that technology journey that you went through to get to that? Did you know that when you first started that you're going to be able to make this work at a manufacturing level, or was it a team decision? Walk me through that.
So in the beginning, it was also crucial just to find raw material which actually available. So this is the reason why we started to looking around at what should be the perfect starting material, and that was the beginning when we started to work with spent coffee grounds. I mean, during the research and development phase, it was obvious that it could be a powerful enhancer of the final packaging product properties. And with the upcycling process, the chemical process what we created, and it's a patented technology right now, we were able to produce the ideal black plastic replacement. And actually, that was the beginning when we just figured it out that maybe it should work. And during the whole research and development phase, we also started, as you mentioned, just the production phase. And actually, it worked. So now we are before the whole upscale process, and we hope that we will be able to create something and a bigger solution for the
Okay.
plastic waste problem.
Okay. No, and definitely working with you educated me on just how nasty, at least the black
Mhm.
plastic world is, and how that stuff just leaches, and the bromine and the chemical components that are in that. Nobody should be having anything food contact with black plastic. So that was definitely an eye opener. With so let's talk about kind of you went from chief technology officer to CEO, right? There was I've been involved in ventures where the co-founders move on to different
Mhm.
things. You guys started this thing, was it in grad school, or how did you guys come together? And then, where did that come to?
We were friends, and we always started to make something different. And it was a really obvious conversation between us in the beginning that now is the time when you have to decide that you want to go forward and start your PhD or start a new position. Big Four or something like that. But it was for us an obvious decision that we want to create something different together, because this is the time when you can start something from the beginning and from just, I mean, just a startup. And we had the idea behind it and the support as well. I mean, not just financially, but we had several mentors behind us. So it was obviously for us the best decision.
Now, when that time came where I know things are difficult within the company, and your two co-founders decided to exit the company, you know, tell me what was that like for you? Having, you guys started this thing together, then they're exiting. I know things were challenging with the company from raising capital standpoint, market standpoint. I mean, you always kept your composure really well, but I got to imagine that had to be challenging. What was that like for you?
Um, Actually, the team was always there. I mean, the tech team, and they give me several, I mean, a lot of support during this time. And for me, because we wanted to see that what can we create it from this technology, what we already had, that was the core and the major motivation for me just move forward and not give it up. And I wanted to focus only this, that what can we create together, and we can solve the whole situation together.
Mhm. And you did. What does your tech team think now with this, obviously the acquisition and the change that's taking place here? What's the feelings among your team?
They are really happy. I mean, I can tell you that they are really, really happy that they can see that something is happening from the material what we created.
That's
So,
fantastic. That's awesome. Um, Now, were there any times going through this process where you're like close to throwing in the towel and just kind of at your wit's end? I mean, walk me through one of those instances and how did you get through it, or what kept you going?
uh, every year there was several difficulties during this journey. So I have to tell that sometimes yes, there are harder times when you just want to give up. And it's great if your family is there and they can support you as well. And there is someone and you can share your thoughts and the obstacles behind you and front of you and mentors is always great if you have some because you can share your thoughts as well with them. And actually you, Greg, also helped me a lot during this time because we had several conversations as well that what should be the next step, and actually people always, this is the key for me, they can
Mm.
guide me too.
Well, you nailed it early on in your career. You know, a lot of it's people, right? It's, you know, if you want to, let's say, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. I keep hearing that repeatedly in a lot of the stuff that we do. I guess in working together, you know, we worked together for almost 2 years. What was the benefit? You know, what did you get out of it? I mean, I know what I got out of it. I got to work with a cool technology, a cool team. You know, kind of beating the odds when things seem stacked up against us. But what did you get out of working together?
The whole structure, I mean, from the beginning, how can you just find the best solution for you, I mean, for your company? And how can you just make from a long list a short list from the investors? And it was a really difficult time when we started the whole searching for investors and finding the perfect match for us and create and pitch your solution as well. So it was a difficult and long journey, but for me it was great just to learn the whole structure, how you can move on and find the next solution and the next step and figure out how can you find the perfect match in the end.
Mhm.
So it was a pipeline and a funnel
Yeah,
diagram as
yeah,
well.
yeah. I appreciate that. Yeah, it's definitely multiple steps along the way, and not trying to do all of them all at once. That's for sure. Um, let's see. So how I guess how have things changed for you when this thing went through? Obviously, like let's speak real quickly to the funding, right? So we went through the, you know, data room got set up, pitch deck, multiple versions of the pitch deck. We even did a video, right? Um,
Yes.
you know, summary, the whole thing, right? And that's usually the case. You do multiple iterations, little tweaks along the way as you need to, all that kind of good stuff. Talk to a lot of these sustainability investors that, at least I thought they would jump all over something like this. I mean, the chance to disrupt, you know, the polymer space with something that's got the specifications and features and benefits that your tech has, and the app, you know, you can just drop this into any assembly line. You don't have to reconfigure anything. I mean, it's just got, to me, it made sense. But talking to some of these sustainability groups, you know, that was frustrating, to be honest with you. It's like they should be backing stuff like that. And it was the come back later, you know, go do this, this, and this, and then maybe we'll look at you. Um, when you were going through that process and kind of dialing for dollars, I mean, what was that like for you? And did it get to the point where, you know, was that another opportunity or another, you know, situation to where you wanted to throw in the towel?
Yes, the conversations with the sustainability investors, I mean, that was the hardest part because we tried several, I mean, we applied and it was a failure, I guess, because we made several pitches well during this time. And in the end, it was obvious that maybe this is not a way to find an investor, and maybe we should be open up for angel investors as well. And that was actually the best approach, what we were able to just move forward and maybe just move forward to the angel investor side, that was a really good realization during this time.
Mhm.
And I
Yeah.
guess that it happened. So
Well, I think
maybe we found it.
we went through the sustainability, folks. Venture capital, again, a lot of those are venture capital firms, but they just focus on sustainability. So I usually tell my clients, if you're doing pre-revenue, steer clear of venture capital. Those that typically do get in at that stage, they come with heavy hooks and lots of clauses. And then it ended up being a family office. Is a family office in the U.S. where she had an exit from a packaging, basically a food safety company, right? So a perfect match. She really bonded with you, really liked your personality, and that's what convinced her. That's what I love about working with some of these family offices is that they usually have that more of that human connection. They're entrepreneurial. They see themselves in you, like what they did, 15 years ago, struggling, trying to make it work. And that's, that's where we focus a lot of our businesses. Most of our investors that get in the deals that we're doing are all family offices. So now I guess when, going forward in this next chapter, how are you involved? I mean, I know the IP is transferring, we've got some milestones, different, more equity can be earned and all that kind of good stuff. Company's going public, God willing, here in the next, 12, 18 months. It's got a big pipeline of technology, but what do you see for yourself in the next, 12 to 18 months?
Yes. So after everything is happening, what you already mentioned, the whole technological transition will be key because there are two cultures now, the Hungarian team and the US-based team as well. And we want to create a really good transfer between the two teams. And that will be a critical phase. And actually, there are several product launch situations before us. And I think that that will be an amazing chapter in the future of the company as well.
Mhm. What would you, if you had to stand in front of an entrepreneurs class, young entrepreneurs all have a vision, all trying to do big things. What advice would you give them based off everything that you've gone through?
Absolutely never give up. I mean, that's the best advice what I can give because during my journey, that was the key sentence.
Yeah, and you didn't. Yeah. Um, anything else you teach people or any words of wisdom?
I mean, I will start it again. If I will be able to start it from the beginning, I will make it again.
You do it again.
I mean, yes, it was hard, but I will definitely do it again.
Yeah. I guess if someone was gonna kind of see this video, right, and if they're looking at potentially engaging Purim and everything that we do, what's your takeaways from working together? Would you recommend this to other people?
Definitely. And you were actually the key because you connected the dots together, the key advisors, and you figured out that who will be the best partner for us who can guide us through like the technological scale up, because for example that was the biggest problem, but we have to scale it up, and you just found the right partners for us. And during the whole journey when we just wanted to figure that out, that what should be the best approach, who should be the best investor. It was also really good brainstorming between us that what should be the next step. And yeah, I really liked work with you.
Oh, I appreciate that. Well, the feeling's definitely mutual. I would definitely work with you again. I hope you get to come to Florida. Yeah, I think you leaving an exit, doing what you've done, obviously with the company you're currently at, and having the opportunities, you can go anywhere you want, you know. All right. Do you have any parting thoughts?
I mean, if you're young, for me, it was a really great situation just to start something, but maybe after I'm 30, that will be a different situation because I need some stability in my life, and maybe I'm not so flexible. But when we started, I mean, I was 25 years old, so it was a really good start in
Okay.
your journey and in the beginning of your career.
Well, I'm very grateful that this was your first startup, right?
Exactly.
That your first startup was a successful one. That you went from CTO to CTO/CEO, and then took it to an investment and an exit and hopefully an IPO here shortly. That's hopefully that you should be proud of what you've done. I mean, you handled it with grace. You did a great job. All right, Krisztina. Well, I appreciate you making time late your time.
Thank you,
All
and
right,
bye,
I'm
and have a
giving
nice day.
you too. See you.
I hope you enjoyed that case study. There's many more behind that one. It's a result of getting hands-on with our clients. This is not a cookie cutter, stamped out approach. This is a very intimate engagement. We get involved, we care, we bring in reinforcements, we do what we need to do to cross that chasm, to get over the hill, to get the capital, to get to that next level. So if that is of interest to you, if you're tired of wondering why your deal's not getting funded, and know that you've got something that can take off and go to that next level, and you're tired of being tired, reach out to us, see if we're a good fit, and we'll go from there.